Today, we're going to talk about stage 5 of the 5 stages to financial freedom. This stage is all about giving back. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you can get smarter today and richer tomorrow. All right, so this kind of seems like the end of the road, but I'm going to start off by saying that it's really not. This isn't exactly what we would say that you work and build up this life so that you can give back at that point. This is a little bit different. It's not like an end stage. Stage is a little bit more spread out. You give back along the way. You figure out what is it that really connects with you and means something big to you, so that way you can do it. You can be fulfilled by these things that really lift you up, where you are contributing in a way that's bigger than yourself. So there's many different ways to do that, and there's no one way to tell you exactly how to do that. There's some ideas we can give you, and we're going to probably share with you a little bit about. But first, we probably should talk a little bit about why it's important to give back to begin with, because we get so much in our lives by from the world around us. It just magically shows up, especially when we get our preferred life in order. I can't explain it, but things just happen, and it really has to do with that focus and telling the universe what you want. It shows up on your doorstep. It's kind of like Amazon, right? So it's important to give back and express that gratitude, because that gratitude really opens that door up when Amazon delivers. So when you give back, you are also setting the stage for your growth. You hear people say, like, you have to give in order to receive, or stuff like that. There's a lot of truth into that, because that really changes your mindset about what it is that you're trying to do. And that's what we're trying to set the stage with on giving back, is getting our mind in the right place, that we're not doing this for the sake of doing it in and of itself. There's a bigger reason we're doing it here, and it all really wraps around in the end to our preferred life and what exactly we're spelling out. So that giving back is kind of the connection of the loop here of what it is that we're really trying to achieve.
Yeah, and there's 1.5 million ways, or reasons, excuse me, why you can't give. I can't give because I'm broke. I can't give because I'm tired. I can't give because I'm stressed out and I'm working all the time. And fine, that's okay. What we're saying here is that you only got to, at the beginning, you only have to give one way and one different avenue. And it breaks down to 3 different ways to give: time, talent, and treasures. Time would be volunteering locally where you are needed. Any sort of time, just giving up your time. If whatever you have the most of when it comes to time, talent, or treasures, start there. And talent, a skill that you have, and you might think to yourself, I don't really have a skill, or nobody wants to listen to me. You'd be surprised about the types of people that you just have to find the right person that wants to sit down and listen to you. And once you've gone down a path of learning a skill or a trade, you still kind of feel like, I really don't know that much. But then you meet someone that's brand new off the boat, has no idea about that sort of situation, and they start talking, they start listening to you, and their jaw just drops, and like, wow, you know a lot of stuff. It's just like, yeah, I guess I kind of know a little bit about this. The third is your treasure, and that doesn't necessarily mean money. That's one of the things you can give, but donating a treasured possession, something that you have that you see value in, or maybe it still has value, but you just don't need it anymore, so you donate it. And we all have our old shirts, old clothes that don't fit anymore, or whatever. Grabbing a trash bag and throwing a bunch of clean clothes into it that you just don't wear anymore, and taking them down to the local donation center, you've just figured out a way to give, and that's 15 minutes out of your day. And giving is a situation where it does come back to you, and it comes back to you in different forms. I've given in multiple different areas of my life, and I never thought twice about it. And it wasn't like I gave a ton of my time or my talent or my treasures. But it's always weird because every once in a while, one of those will come back to you years and years later. And they're like, yeah, you came up to me this one thing and you were talking. And, I just thought you knew so much and it was so crazy. And you're the one that gave me that spark to really get into this. And I'm really excited about doing it. And a lot of times just giving could be when I'm in Toastmasters, when you're giving feedback as an evaluator, you're supposed to give, a couple, it's like a sandwich. You give a compliment and then a critique and then maybe a compliment. That's how it's kind of supposed to go. And some people will sit there and just hammer on people. And it's just like, man, did I do anything right? So what I try to do when I give feedback in a Toastmasters speech, I will try to turn something that they're one of their strengths that they're really not just leaning into. And I will tell them, I'm like, listen, this is a strength that you have and you're just not fully utilizing it. And that's kind of a way to give someone a critique without them taking it the wrong way. They're like, wow, I really do have a gift or a talent for being able to pause and talk in a low, slow manner and make people lean in and listen to my conversation or my speech as I go. And you want people to walk away from an evaluation in Toastmasters with like, man, that was good, but I know I can do it better next time. And that is a form of giving because I could just go, man, Reese, you took too long. You said too many ahs and ums, and and your speech was boring. Man, I wish I could give you more feedback, but I stopped listening halfway through. And technically that's an evaluation, but it's a horrible evaluation. All I did was beat them down. So when it comes to giving, and Reese is going to expand on this in a minute here, creativity is king. And we just slowly talked about the time, talent, and treasures, but there is a billion ways to give. Reese.
Yeah. And when you do start giving, when you're looking like, okay, how can I give? What do I do that's going to give in a way that's going to be meaningful for me? You can be altruistic and give just for the sake of giving, but it's not going to really connect back to what it is that you're trying to form your life around with this giving. So the way to kind of approach that is to be selfish, which hold up for a minute. I'm not meaning like selfish of like holding on to your things. Be selfish in the way that you give in a way that gives you joy. If giving away old shirts doesn't really do anything for you, then donate them and move on. They're out of your life. But if you give away maybe your favorite shirt to one person and that person is just lit up by having that, and like that may be something completely different, or whatever that is for you. Maybe it's not giving your treasure to them. Maybe it's going and spending time with somebody at the homeless shelter or whatever it is that you can connect in different ways. But be selfish about it. Do something that's going to make you happy, because when you get that joy yourself, that's when you are able to more fully give of yourself and what it is that you're trying to give of fully. So as you're starting to deploy this giving in this selfishness, you don't just want to wait until you have the free time to do it, or you have the money to be able to do it, or whatever it is. You need to be able to figure out ways to give along the way as you're going throughout life. So you may not have the means to fully just volunteer 100% of the time, go spend your time in Africa without borders kind of thing. Maybe there's ways you can volunteer locally until you can build your situation up to that point. So for example, maybe you're trying to think of a talent. You're trying to donate with a talent. So maybe you are teaching somebody how to do that skill you have. Maybe it's woodworking. So you take some time and teach somebody like, hey, here's how you put a table together. But your ultimate goal may be to have this institution, this college or program put together where it teaches people how to build tables and all these giant elaborate woodworking things on a regular basis, and form that skill that you have, that you love and you enjoy, into something much bigger than you yourself are able to do. That may be what is in your preferred life for it, but you don't have to wait until you're able to have that full program out to be able to teach somebody how to put a table together. I hope that makes a little more sense.
And Reese, you touched on it really quickly, though. It's the way to give selfishly. And I was trying to think of an example of what that is. And I was remembering at Christmas time when they had that tree at the mall where it had a bunch of people that were in need, and you'd pick a name off the tree, and they like, I want this, this, and this, and this. And of course, what they were asking for was way within a budget to give to somebody. And you would get everything on their list, and they get it wrapped, and then you would kind of send it off, and then you would never see the person, know the person, and you wouldn't. And that was basically it. You did a good deed, and you felt good about it, and that was kind of the end of it, so to speak. That's a great way to give, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I would say a way to amp that up is that if you know someone personally, that maybe someone who goes to your church, or maybe it's someone like one of your kids' school that doesn't have a lot of stuff, and like you know that they really want something, and you know this person personally, or you know kind of them, and you find out what they want, and you get that stuff for them for Christmas, and then they're kind of like leading up to Christmas, and they kind of know, all right, it's, you know, I'm not going to get as much. My hopes are down. My hopes are at a menial pace. Then all of a sudden they see like, man, they got that one thing that they really, really want. You get to watch them open it, and they're like, you see their eyes light up, you know, like a little kid on Christmas basically. And you get to see them like just go bananas over this one thing that they really, really wanted. They knew they weren't going to get it, but they actually got it. And they still don't know it was you that gave the gift. And they just know that some anonymous donor got them this gift, but you actually got to see them physically open that up, and you get to feel that impact like in real life, and see your good deed in like unfold as it happens. And that's what we mean by giving selfishly. That's going to really ramp you up and get you going, because that feeling is like a high, and you're going to want to chase that again and give, you know, time, talent, and treasures, different ways. But you're going to want to be like, man, I wonder if I could do this in another way. And like what Reese was saying, you know, giving now, giving tomorrow, and giving later, it's a ramp up, because you're going to be so pumped up with your own life and your income and your debt. Your income is going to go up, your debts are going to go down, that cash flow is going to expand. And at some point, you're going to get to a point where you're just like, I really don't need any more things. And I'm kind of to that point now. And I'm by no means rich, and I don't have all my debts paid off, but I don't really need a lot. When my birthday comes around, they're like, what do you want for your birthday? And I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't need anything. And then my wife, she gets mad at me because she can't buy me anything. And it's because I don't really need anything anymore. And that's kind of the part where you're like, all right, now I need to transition to another part of my life where I can fulfill another type of my own personal need, and that is the need to give. And once you start to give, it is like a high. You want to keep doing it and ramp it up more and more, and you will. And it's a law of attraction. As you're giving and you're kind of being the change that you wish to see in the world, people will gravitate towards you, and that gift that you're giving will multiply 10x, 100x.
Yep, absolutely. And kind of like with my situation too, the give now, give later kind of thing, it's something that really connects with me. Is I really believe in trying to help out where we need it most within the world, right? And a lot of times we have these programs set up where we give clothes, we give food, those sort of things to help out. And that's really good. That's well and good. But for me, that doesn't really connect with me. It doesn't really make me light up. But for me to be able to provide education and help those people to learn and better their own skill sets, for me, like that really lights me up. So I have in my preferred life to build this school out where I help these kids like have a place to go and learn more and do more. And that's gonna take a lot to be able to do that, right? So I don't have to wait to be able to do that though, because I can give along the way. There's organizations that already are supporting those kind of efforts where schools are already established, and I can sponsor kids' school today for less than a cup of coffee a day. So that kind of thing already exists where I can live out those parts of my preferred life today while I'm still working to that bigger part of my preferred life in the future. I have something I'm working towards, but I'm still fulfilled by what I'm doing today. So as you start to develop this and chew on it a little bit, you kind of think about how to instill this in ways of how you're going about your everyday life. And the way you really want to do that is to create your own culture, like your own surroundings. You get involved with a group of people who are doing the same thing, where they're trying to live their lives, not doing the same way, but understanding that there is that same kind of process, that you're going through the same kind of ritual. And that's exactly what Joe and I have done. That's how we got involved and got to doing this together. Is we're involved with a group of people where we're going out and living our lives the way that we want to live it, and it's amazing seeing these basically our second families just live out these amazing lives where all they had to do was start dreaming and putting this plan into place, and they'll start to challenge you, and you will receive so much, but in the same time you're helping them out to live the same way, and that's another way to give back. So when you start to do that, you build up this what do they call it, like a legacy. You build up a legacy for how you're building your life out. What is it that you want your legacy to end up being, right? You are now working on that something that's bigger than you. It's going to transcend you. And you create this culture around you to help support that and lift it up.
So what Reese is kind of saying there, with you got the group around you that's kind of creating a legacy. If you're stuck like I was about not knowing how to give, man, just steal from the other people in the room. If they got something going on, they're just like, this is what we're trying to do. Because everybody's at different points of their lives. And some people can give more than others, time, money, whatever it is. Some people in our group, they've taken days, weeks, and months off of their lives and gone to another country and helped out. And that's awesome. There's different ways to do that. You can just take their idea and steal it completely and just do exactly what they're doing. Or you can just be like, man, I am so busy, so stressed, so tired, all those million things that we talked about at the beginning of the video. And you can just go, you know what? I can donate $50 for them. Like, I can donate $5 a kid or whatever that they're trying to come up with. Like, I could find 2 or 3 people that I could sell this cause to somebody else, and, and get them to give in money. So then I could bring more money to the table and give it to them, because there's a couple of people in our group now where I would give money to them. And to just further add on to that, I'm running my first half marathon with my dad, because that's in my preferred life, is to connect with my dad, and he loves to run. And what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to habit stack it. And what it's going to be is that if anybody wants to support me in my first half marathon, they can donate $50. Well, the $50 isn't going to go to me personally. It's going to go to another group, and then another couple in my group, and that's just the money's going to go to them. So I'm donating by running a race, and it's a great charity to give to. And not only did I connect with my dad, I got healthy and ran 13.1 miles, and I rallied a cause together, and I got to be able to donate some money to a worthy cause, and all just by running a race. And some of these people just go out and run races, and that's all they do. I did 3 things, or 4 things, whatever it was. So habit stacking and just getting creative. That's an example of just getting creative and thinking outside the box, and getting around a group of people that are in the same mindset of how can I give versus what can I get more of, that's going to breed a good culture for you. And that's the kind of culture of people you can get around. And these people are not very hard to find. You just got to kind of look for them.
Yeah. So I just kind of want to tie giving back to this point. What is it that your preferred life actually looks like? We said that's the starting point, and it is for a good reason, because you want to be able to look from your starting point to where it is that you want to go to be able to connect the dots properly. It's kind of like our GPS analogy. In order for a GPS to work, it has to know where you are, where you want to go, and then it connects the dots of how to get there the fastest. And that's exactly what we're trying to do with these 5 stages. So that end is where you need to start figuring out. And that's what this giving back is. That end is the beginning. So what is it that you want your preferred life to look like? How are you going to give back? Let us know in the comments how you are going to give back. What is it that you want to do? How do you want to contribute to the world? If you like what you're watching, if you like these videos, hit subscribe and watch out for our next video.